Hey, how's it going, guys? I'm Paradoxic, and welcome back to Zack Snyder's Justice League. Now we are going into part 4 of this so far amazing movie, so far pretty damn amazing movie, and very much an improvement on the original. Last time we had part 3, which was Beloved Mother, Beloved Son, and we met two sons. We met two sons, one of whom was without, well, yeah, both of whom were without mothers, actually. Both of whom were without mothers, but under different kind of circumstances. We met Barry Allen and Victor Stone, aka The Flash and Cyborg. We got a bit of backstory for them both. I mean, we got a lot more visual backstory for Cyborg, which was very much needed. We got the actual backstory and further kind of character establishment for Cyborg that we were missing in the original cut. And for Barry, we got the scene of him actually meeting Iris, and also in connection to that scene, him actually saving her from being flung out of her car and across the pavement and stuff. So he used his super speed to save her. That super speed scene was so great. It was really, really well executed. The music was, as time went on, I actually was able to enjoy the music choice a bit more and actually fit in well, and just kind of seeing him running out with like somewhat more like more realistic and applicable kind of material physics was actually more enjoyable to see than the kind of ease he has running even in normal clothes in the actual TV show. So yeah, it was great nonetheless. It was great, and seeing him meet Iris was great. And then I think for Barry, like besides from that Iris scene, like most of his screen time in part 3 was actually pretty similar to what we had in the theatrical cut, like him actually meeting Bruce and Diana, and most of that dialogue was the same too. I think the meeting with Bruce went much better, like in terms of the actual shooting and editing, like for obvious reasons. So that one actually went well. But besides from that, like I think the only new thing we got from him was actually the Iris scene, which was again it was pretty well done. It was pretty well done. I don't know if we'll actually be seeing her again in the story, if like they're gonna be that's like her introduction, but then we're gonna see her later in the actual Flash solo movie whenever that comes out. But it was cool. It was cool nonetheless. So we had that, and we had him, talking to his dad in prison. And I think his scene with his dad in prison, like the dialogue for that was pretty different too. Him actually talking about, going into criminal justice, and him talking about his history with his dad and stuff like that. So that was a bit different. And then from then on, it was actually, much more familiar dialogue and much more familiar stuff. So that was cool. That was cool. But we got Cyborg too. We got Cyborg. We saw a lot of his history, and we actually got some scenes with his mother in them, and we actually saw the accident taking place at the car accident that killed his mother tragically, and then left him just kind of hanging on for dear life before his dad actually turned him into the cyborg that we know and love. So that was like, all those scenes were amazing. All those scenes were great. And then and then I think we actually got a scene of him actually exploring, like him using his dad's kind of voiceover memos to kind of explore who he was now and what he was and what his capabilities are. And he used his powers for good. He used his powers of hacking into pretty much any network, any kind of system in the world for good. He actually helped out a woman who was actually struggling financially to support herself and her son. So that was a really, really heartwarming scene, and I think, it didn't last long, but there was so much said, like without him even saying anything, like he was actually standing like 10 feet away from them from an ATM and hacked into the ATM and gave her the money she needed to actually survive again, and stuff. And he walked away, didn't even take any credit for it, didn't even go up to them and say, it was just me. And he still faced like some kind of consequences, like not consequences, but he still kind of faced the reality of his kind of appearance and his now current existence later on. But still, like that scene alone showed, like, Cyborg is a hero deep down. He's a good guy despite what he looks like now and stuff. And I mean, like, him being a cyborg is not like, I mean, thinking about it, like him being a cyborg is not even it's obviously not like your run of the mill human being appearance, but it's still like it's like he doesn't look like, he's not really hard to look at. He's not like, he's different, but he's not hard to look at, and he's not definitely not like, like a villainous appearance and stuff. But I am, thanks to those scenes and thanks to that history, I am much, much more like intrigued to see how much more of him we see and what he actually does in this version of the movie, and seeing like exactly what Zack actually does with his character, and seeing just how much of just how much of a performance Ray Fisher continues to give, because he's done amazingly so far. He's done amazingly so far. So like Ray and like Ray was like unarguably one of the biggest supporters of the release of the Snyder Cut, and actually Zack getting to execute his vision both for Cyborg and the film overall. So I'm only even more excited to see more of Cyborg and him working with the rest of the team. He did meet Diana, but he understandably like similar to how Arthur was with Batman. Victor was actually reluctant and hesitant to actually go with Diana and join forces with her, but she did kind of leave him with like a message of people out there do want to help him, and he deserves to kind of feel like he belongs somewhere, and like there is a team willing to help him, and and that his skill sets would also be useful in actually saving the world. So yeah, I look forward to seeing how they all reunite and everything soon enough. So yeah, that stuff would be cool. But so far, I think Barry is so far the only one who is just instantly on board under the guise of actually kind of yearning for friendship and everything. So he's instantly on board. So now we have Batman, Wonder Woman, and the Flash. So yeah, things will presumably only get better from here on out. So that was cool. We had Steppenwolf actually finding his way to Atlantis. He actually stole the Mother Box. He managed to steal the Mother Box from Atlantis after a brief fight with Mira and Aquaman. So he's got two of them now, and he only needs one more, and that is the human one. The one, actually, previously in the custody of humans is the only one he needs, and he has, and not only does he have that, he's kidnapped a bunch of scientists from Star Labs, including Silas Stone, aka the one with the closest kind of contact out of all of them. With the Mother Box and with like the strongest scent and stuff, so he will get to that in no time. So I think based on what we've also seen in the theatrical cut, I think we should now be getting close to that tunnel fight. That's kind of bred from the kind of attempted rescue of Silas by the Justice League. So I think soon enough, like now that he also knows that Silas has been taken and the Mother Box has been taken, then he he has the Mother Box. No, Victor still has the Mother Box. He actually took it with him, but now that he knows that Silas has been taken, I think he'll now be even more inclined to join up with the Justice League, and he sees in the sky the bat signal has been turned on, and I think he kind of presumes that Diana would be working with a guy like that. If she knows who Cyborg is, then she would likely be working with a guy like that. So a reunion is close. So that should be cool to see. We also saw, I think it was in the last one. We actually saw. Was it in the last one? I think it might have been in the last chapter. We actually saw Desard too. Steppenwolf actually contacted Desard to inform him and to kind of tell him what was what. And then we've had some previous contact with Desard too, like him actually kind of chastising Steppenwolf for what he did in the past and how he owes Darkseid like 50,000 planets and everything. So looking forward to seeing further contact from Desard and hopefully eventually seeing Darkseid too and seeing how he's doing after Ares swung an axe into his shoulder. But yeah, that should all be fun. That should all be very fun to see. But yeah, so that is all I can remember from the last chapter. So on to episode part four of this amazing movie. So yeah, hopefully I've had trouble with the previous parts, like I did doing full length for the previous part. So hopefully, if I because of technical issues, but if I am able to do the full length for this one, then it will absolutely be available on Patreon. So you can go check that one out over there. The link will also be available in the comments below. So just kind of keep an eye out for it. If it's unavailable, then I am deeply sorry, but yeah, technical issues are a bitch, pretty much. So yeah, not really kind of. Not much I can do to solve those all the time. But regardless, the reaction highlight, as you will see in a couple of seconds, will be just as much fun. So yeah, part 4 of the Snyder Cut of Justice League. Let's go. Oh yeah, he's just standing on a vantage point. Yeah, classic Batman using vantage points. Yeah. Such a cool landing, yeah, and the Flash and Wonder Woman, yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's gonna take some time to get used to that. Wait until you see the Superman, Gordon. Wait till you meet him.
Let's go.
Yeah, superheroes have to take the stairs. Yeah.
We do this together.
Mm-hmm.
I heard about you. Didn't think you were real.
I'm so glad he included that line again. Yeah, that scene.
Really missing Superman right now.
Yeah. Oh, damn, Cyborg is getting into action. Oh, yeah. Oh. Okay. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Damn right.
Not like your sisters. Stronger.
Oh, yeah. Oh, jeez. Oh, damn, she's taking out parademons. Oh, yes. Oh, oh, oh. Okay, so he's actually standing his ground then. Oh my god.
Help get those people out of here. I'll make sure these things follow me.
Oh. Oh, yes. So much better, so much better. Oh. Oh, okay. Oh, there we go. There we go. Yeah, Batman actually standing his ground against some parademons. Oh, crap. Oh. Oh, damn. Is he catching all that rubble? Nice. Teamwork. Teamwork. Yeah, they barely know each other and teamwork already.
Aliens, bad guy, sword lady.
Sword Lady, otherwise that's Wonder Woman, yeah. Your ally. Oh, come on, Flash. Your time. Your time. Oh, oh, he actually reversed himself. Oh, yes. Yes. Oh, God, this is good. There we go. Just a little tippy tap. Just a little tippy tap. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, God. You know, I was just about to say it's a good thing he now has better control of his speed, but then he goes and trips. So, yeah. And yes, this is much better. Much better than face planting. Yes. God, this is the Justice League. This is the Justice League. Yeah. Oh. Get those gauntlets. You get those gauntlets.
The blood of the old gods in you.
Oh, there we go. Yeah, blast him back. Oh, ow. Oh, parademon. Oh, no. Oh, what? His suit is resistant to all of that, but except for alien gunfire. Really.
Relax. I'll take it from here.
Do I know you?
Oh, you're about to, Alfie. You're about to. Oh. Oh, 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 oh. Oh, he still catches it. He still catches it. Okay. Oh, but it looks angrier this time. It looks a lot angrier. Yeah, oh, he's riding the wave. He's riding the wave. There we go. There we go. Yeah, the king of the ocean is here. No, no, no. Come on, come on. No, okay. No.
Diana, get on!
Why would you wait? Just jump back in. There we go. Just hang on for dear life, yeah. And just stab the Nightcrawler, yeah. Just stab it. Wait, where's Arthur? Is he still... I mean, it's not a big deal for him to be in the water, but is he still riding that wave? Oh. Oh. What does he see?
It is here. On this world.
This is Earth, right? Damn, oh, he's making his own symbols, just like Darkseid. He's making his own fiery signature.
Before mighty Darkseid came to the throne, he searched the universe for the ultimate weapon, the anti-life equation.
The anti-life
The key to
equation.
controlling all life and all will throughout the multiverse. He found
The
it
multiverse, so
in
he is from another
another
universe
Earth,
then.
But
The
before
story of the Defiance.
the anti-life equation is carved into the surface of this very world.
Huh. So is that what those lines are? That signature? The anti-life equation. Okay. Sounds very sinister, and it understandably is. Yeah. Just control over all life and death. Oh, it's him! It's the big cheese himself! It's the big guy, it's Darkseid himself! Oh, damn, yeah, now. Oh, whoa, damn. He looks practically quarter naked.
My lord, if it is redemption you seek, find the third box, synchronize the unity, and when this world is scorched, I will
That's it.
come for
Earth
my
is worth
great
50,000
prize.
worlds.
I have turned 100,000 worlds to dust, looking for anti-life, looking for those who robbed me of my glory. I will stride across their bones and bask in the glow of anti-life.
You talk to machines? I speak to intelligence. This one's saying she can't.
You see, that
fly
could be a
because
great
it's
burn.
soft
That would make for a
but I
great
can fix it
insult.
with a little
Yeah.
time. How do we know you're not working for them? It's a long story. You got somewhere else to be.
Okay. Well, I'm sure you can trust this group with the truth.
They brought it back
Victor
to the
walking
States
through a
in
Nazi
24.
camp in his mind. That's it.
Unknown object.
Oh boy.
61982.
Oh jeez. And it literally created his cyborg body.
He unleashed an alien
Yeah.
technology he didn't fully understand.
So it took over the rest of his body too and
Use
left
that
only
power to
his,
keep me
like,
alive.
part of his head.
The boxes don't think in terms of healing or killing, alive or dead. They rearrange matter at the will of their masters, regenerate, reinstate.
Reinstate.
Burn down a house, the particles still exist. Particles of house become particles of smoke.
Anybody with a match can turn a house to smoke.
Put them on the box. Turn smoke back into a house.
Can reverse or accelerate. Reverse death. That's it. Yeah. Oh, so this is where that shot in the trailer comes from. Yeah, it's literally Superman. Yeah. The Mother Box actually bringing their vision to life. Oh, that is so good. That is so damn good.
You haven't been to work since Clark died?
Huh.
They talk like they knew him. But they didn't know Clark.
No.
And I can't stop them and look at him and tell him how proud I am of my son. There is something you can do for me, honey. Come back to the living.
Actually try and help her return to normal life again. I guess that's a good move. Excusez-moi? Wait, no. Martian Manhunter! John Jones! The General!
The world needs you too, Lois.
The General from Man of Steel! And BVS!
The dead are dead.
He's Martian Manhunter!
Victor wasn't dead. Life is either 1 or 0. It's to be or not to be.
We got Martian Manhunter in the DCEU. This movie is insane. This movie is insane.
Didn't call out to Steppenwolf. None of the boxes did. Not until.
Not until Superman died.
Yeah, his screams literally woke them all up. Yeah.
It's like they were afraid of him.
There are 6, not 5. There's no us without him.
Unite the 6. Do it. And that's the end of part 4. Okay. Oh, damn. I don't think I have to keep telling you guys how much better and better and better this movie is getting. Holy hell. Okay, yeah, okay, so part 4, Change Machine. So this had both the tunnel fight scenes and the team meeting in the in the kind of, it wasn't a Batcave. It wasn't a Batcave. It was just like a bat base that Bruce had owned, and I think he must have renovated it too, because Barry did point out on the outside it just looks like an abandoned, creepy old building, but on the inside, Bruce renovated it to actually suit his needs and to store everything he needed. So that was cool. But yeah, the tunnel fight scene. God, the tunnel fight scene in this was so good, so damn good. You know, and I think there are like so many different kind of character elements again, like incorporated into it too, like different team ups and partnerships, like Flash and Cyborg working together. That was actually cool. Like Cyborg, I think, you know, like Cyborg actually working to get everyone out of there and everyone running out, and then Flash, I think, you know, he even had that scene where he like the rubble was falling out after Steppenwolf crashed out the corner of the building, and then he actually, I think he was actually running around on top of them in like a blue kind of haze. He was actually catching different bits of rubble, and then Cyborg actually blasted the final one out of the way. So I think that kind of teamwork and between Flash and Cyborg was really, really cool to see. And Barry actually Barry actually somewhat standing his ground too. Like him, I'm hoping he doesn't. I sincerely hope he doesn't have this thing like that scene from the theatrical cut where it's like, you know, oh, like he has like he hates bugs or something, and he runs through all of them and he just kind of feels grossed out by the goop. And in this one, you know, in this one too, we didn't have that thing where he's too afraid to fight back because he's never really been in a fight before. Like he just kind of, I think I prefer this over that because in this one he feel like it just feels like because of the lack of that, he just like has a better understanding of like being here and fighting with the team. Like he obviously doesn't do any active combat. He doesn't start, you know, doing, you know, speed force martial arts or anything. But he's still like he actually stands his ground. He dodges bullets. He runs behind the parademon, pushes it into the wall and stuff. So he actually takes some kind of charge, and he does what he can. He doesn't really kind of make up like he doesn't really enforce any kind of conditional teamwork or conditional kind of participation in this fight with Bruce. He doesn't try and, you know, try and find some leeway that he's comfortable with. He actually takes charge. He does what he needs to do, and then he runs out again. So I think I much prefer that over what we had before. And yeah, and again, and him, like the scene with him, like actually running to get Diana's sword back was, I think it felt so much more fleshed out than this. I think I don't know if some scenes feel different because they're kind of actually redirected and, you know, better directed by Zack Snyder, or if it's because I just haven't seen the original cut in so long that I just can't remember how certain scenes flow. Like a lot of stuff seems familiar, but, you know, I genuinely can't remember like how some of the stuff actually went, or how quick it lasted, or how, you know, like how much of it there was. But with this one, it actually feels like he actually fleshed out that kind of teamwork scene like much better too. Like Barry almost like very nearly leaping off, but then he actually reverses himself using his own speed. Then he actually runs around the side of the platform of the environment, and he actually uses like a little kind of electric tippy tap to the tip of the sword, and then he actually sends the sword back to Diana's hands. And I think props to Diana. I mean, she is much faster. Like her movement and her processing alone is like what we've seen is like superhuman speed. So like, you know, she is kind of quick enough to react to the sword immediately kind of being sent back to her hands as soon as it falls off the platform. So that was cool. And again, the biggest improvement: no face planting. Into Wonder Woman in this scene. Like I was gonna say he actually seems like he has much better control over his speed now, but then he actually did end up tripping over like a chunk of the platform, and then actually just landing face first into the steps and everything. But he still stood his ground somewhat, and then Diana herself actually lands on her feet. So like a proper good kind of, you know, like appropriate landing for both of those characters, and like an appropriate end to that sequence. So props to Zack for doing it the way it should be done. And then we actually had Wonder Woman versus Steppenwolf, which was a hugely great fight to see, like her actually standing her ground and doing as best as she could, despite, you know, like she even admitted at the end that, you know, like Steppenwolf was, you know, much bigger than anyone, like a much different enemy than anyone she'd ever fought before, and it kind of showed. Like she definitely stood her ground with her sword and her shield, and she still tried her best. And you know, I mean, and I think I was kind of curious as to whether Zack would still include that line of like of like her being of like his axe being slick with the blood of her Amazon sisters or something. So I was curious if he was gonna try and add that. But I think the way he did it in this one, actually, it's a lot more subtle, and it actually works better because of, like, he even points out like, oh, it's another Amazon, but it's like, you know, oh, you're not like your sisters, you're stronger. So I think that kind of has its own implication that, you know, oh, if you know if you find, like, you know, it actually has its own implication that, you know, the other Amazons weren't as strong as Diana is, and, you know, and as a result, not all of them survived the attack of Steppenwolf and his parademon. So like it's kind of making Diana think like, oh, if he thinks I'm stronger than them, then he must have found a way to beat them. And knowing him, he's also like a ruthless killer too. So he's more than happy to slice and dice anyone in his way, which he did. So I think that kind of subtlety is actually much better executed than actually going straight ahead. And because I think the other line works, but I think the subtlety again has a more kind of has like an element, like a tad more kind of effective villainy to it. Like, oh, did I kill them? Did I not? I guess we'll just have to wait and find. I guess we'll just have to wait and find out. But even if I did, it doesn't matter because I'll just kill you too. That whole kind of subtlety really works and stuff. So I actually like that execution better than the original line. So that was cool. And seeing Batman standing his ground too was cool. Like him actually, I think he actually did it. Like I think that actually reminds me, he actually did give Barry like that same kind of dialogue, but just like a different rendition. Like, Barry kind of standing around and dodging kind of parry and fire, but then like Bruce, instead of actually giving him like a silent pep talk while everyone else kind of runs into battle, he actually kind of gives him orders in the moment, which, I mean, that seems like a much more Batman thing to do. Like Batman, like, especially if you're in the field of battle, he doesn't really seem like the kind of person to like be like, okay, hold on, enemies, just gonna give this kind of this team member a little pep talk and then we'll be right with you. Like, he actually seems like the kind of guy to actually yell orders in the heat of battle, like, Barry, hurry up to save people, and I'm like I'll get them to follow me, just to save people. Like, he actually yells at him and actually gives quick time orders almost. So, like, that seems a lot more like Batman in the heat of battle. So that was that was cool. And then he actually did seem to to actually stand his ground a little bit better in this. Like, he still got thrown around and punched a bit, and then he still kind of took some hits, but he still gave them at the same time. And then he actually found himself in the same environment as Steppenwolf and Diana, and then he was actually he was actually blocking the fire, like the gunfire with his actual gauntlets and everything, and even Alfred pointing out that the energy absorption technology actually worked and everything. So that was cool. But yeah, just that fight scene just kind of worked and flowed and was executed a lot better, and it was a lot more enjoyable to watch. And it actually felt like the kind of the initial members of the Justice League actually working together to do something, and like Cyborg already being there, like the first kind of the first out of him and Aquaman to actually join in and actually try and protect people. So like it actually felt more like an initial kind of team up of the Justice League than before. So that was really well done. That was super well done. And then Aquaman did join in at the end. Like, and I think, yeah, and like that introduction felt cooler too. Like him actually kind of riding like torpedoing himself through the waves before jumping out and actually trying to block the waves with his powers, and like for as long as he could. Anyway, that was cool. But yeah, that whole fight scene just really kind of like felt like an introduction of their teamwork, and it's like it was rusty because it was their first time working together, and like like they were up against like a literal like an arguably more powerful Steppenwolf and like a wave of parademons. So like they still kind of took hits and everything, but for the most part, this is the Justice League. Like they're getting there. So it was very cool to see. And then, yeah, Steppenwolf went back to his little nuclear base that he's preparing for Darkseid, and he actually had another meeting with Desard, and he actually informed him of the fact, and like he had a vision. He was called back by one of the mother boxes, and he actually had a vision and discovered that like it's on Earth. Like it's all he said, it's on Earth, and then we later find out that it's actually what he's talking about is the anti-life equation. So that is not like a concept or like a thing from the comics. I mean, I haven't read them, so I'm self-explanatory. Yeah, I haven't read them, so it's pretty self-explanatory that I'm not kind of aware of the anti-life equation. But apparently, it's something that gives you control. I think from the little bit I caught to like the little bit of the dialogue that I caught, it's something that gives it gives you control and power over life and death, and the concept of life and death and stuff like that. So essentially, power over the multiverse. And he mentioned the multiverse. So yeah, so I think they must be from a different universe, from an actual alternate universe. So. Yeah, and I think that mentioned too, like that then makes you wonder, like, what they're going to include in this and how, like, because that's like a mere mention. That's a mere mention. But we know that the DCU is a part of the Arrowverse because but this Barry has met the other Barry, so it's kind of like a thing. So I think understandably, if they're if they are setting things up, then that's all it would be. It would be setting things up with name drops and references and Easter eggs here and there, with nothing more. But I think with this one, instead of it's definitely like the multiverse is like a whole other thing, undeniably worth exploring, but also something that actually takes time, and it's actually better to actually leave that for like another story where you can actually do it well. Like with this one, is there to actually introduce the Justice League, to set that team up, and to kind of leave the door open for future potential team ups and everything. So it's best to leave the multiverse stuff there, but I think that reference alone works very well to actually give off like an idea of where Steppenwolf and Darkseid and everyone else comes from. So he's from another universe, and and we met Darkseid. We actually saw Darkseid, like him actually communicating with Steppenwolf the same way that he's been talking to Daysard, like that kind of that little chunk of metal that the mother boxes are in actually melting together and forming their individual figures and allowing them to communicate with him. So that was cool. So he actually came forward and he, like after Steppenwolf told Daysard that he actually found the anti-life equation, and he found out that it was actually Earth, and he called Earth the lost world. Like, that made sense. Earth being the lost world, Earth being the one world throughout the multiverse that like the Darkseid was never able to claim because the forces of Earth actually united and successfully pushed them back to into retreating. That actually made sense. Like, the Earth would be the lost world, but Earth is also the world with the anti-life equation carved into it. So I think it must be like those fiery kind of runes and like lines and like that pattern that he swung his axe into the Earth the same way Darkseid did, because way back when Darkseid first came to Earth, he swung his own weapon into the Earth, and that same diagram came up. So it must be like that same thing, and but I think the first time we saw that, it was when Darkseid himself actually created it. But he, oh Jesus, it's so dusty. He did actually mention that he had like that was the sole reason he actually. So he's not out. He's not just there to destroy worlds. He's actively looking. Like, Darkseid is actually actively looking for the anti-life equation. Like, that's the whole reason he's gone to all these different worlds and pillaged them and destroyed them. Like, he's actively looking for that equation. So yeah. So then that makes me wonder, like, should Darkseid not know? Because then if that's the case, because then if he's testing each world for the anti-life equation by swinging his axe and then having that diagram pop up, then surely that's surely. I mean, I think maybe he didn't know the world was Earth. Like, he knew it was a world. He's destroyed so many. He's destroyed countless. Well, hundreds of thousands of worlds. Like, he's destroyed countless worlds, and he's been looking for that symbol. So I think he doesn't always know maybe he doesn't actually be able. Maybe he's not always able to actually ID the planet. So I think. So, like, Steppenwolf having that vision was actually him being able to confirm that this world, the one he was on, the one that he was setting up the stronghold for Darkseid on, was actually the world that Darkseid was looking for. It was not only the Lost World, but it's also the anti-life equations. I think he IDs Earth as the Lost World. He doesn't actually call it Earth. He doesn't actually know what it is or anything like that. But he just calls it the Lost World because because Earth's kind of primary significance to him is that it's the world that he's never been able to claim. It's the world he's never been able to actually take over and kill completely. Like the forces of Earth actually fought back. So that's how he remembers it, the Lost World. So it's also the one with the anti-life equation. So that's what he's actually looking for. So I mean, the boxes could definitely still help. I think the boxes could definitely still help him terraform it and like destroy it and create it the way he wants. But then what his main goal is the anti-life equation. So it gives him kind of like ruling over the entire kind of concept of life and death and ergo control over the multiverse. So yeah, I mean, I won't lie, I get Thanos vibes from him, but I mean, they're both kind of two different villains and two different I mean, I guess kind of two different ideologies. Like, he hasn't really mentioned that he wants to wipe out half the multiverse, and I think that would be like a crisis on Infinite Earths level kind of thing, with the Anti-Monitor wanting to wipe out everything and just have like an antimatter universe. But Darkseid, I think he wants control, like whether or not he wants to use the anti-life equation to actually kill people, or to wipe out half of anything, or wipe out all of anything. We don't know yet, but he wants control. He wants that level of power where he is the ultimate wielder of existence itself. So that is a very, very sinister and villainous kind of plan for one to have. So I'm curious to see. So I think like the mother box. I think the mother boxes then must be fairly tame compared to the anti-life equation. Like the anti-life equation gives you control over everything that ever is and everything that ever can be or will be. Then like the mother boxes must be just like one key to that. Like because my understanding of the mother box is that especially since they actually explored the power and the capabilities of the mother box in this chapter. Like he can use it still to recreate his home, to actually turn every world into his home. So he uses it to destroy, but then he can actually use it to actually, expand his own civilization and his own world as well. But then he comes from like another universe, so he could probably turn it into like something else. So I'm kind of I'm kind of confused on that end too. Like, like the mother box must just be like it must either just be like a key to actually him finding the anti-life equation, or it must just be like a bonus. Like he gets control over everything, but he also gets to actually create more worlds like his own and actually have more territory to rule over too. And he must just kind of love destruction and stuff as well. So yeah, so the anti-life equation, that is a thing, and it's the thing that Darkseid himself is actually looking for. So I think I might have to look that up. I might have to actually look up what its actual kind of significance is in canon and in the comics and everything, and what it really means. But yeah, the anti-life equation, Darkseid's looking for it. And then yeah, we had the team meeting in Bruce's renovated warehouse. And yeah, I love that. I think one thing I love besides from the newer scenes is the fact that, you know, Zack himself is just renovating all these older scenes and making them better, lengthening them if necessary, but also just kind of rehashing and, like, you know, improving upon that kind of content. And yeah, and I think, not to say that I actually hated the way that they explored the mother box in the original cut. Like they still had some semblance of a scene where they talked about what the mother box is capable of and what its powers are. But with this one, it's actually like a more in-depth thing. Every team member gets to actually you know, participate and actually, you know, gain their own level of understanding of how the mother box works. Like that kind of team effort too. Like, you know, like Zack knows how to handle that. He knows how to handle the team effort and just kind of create like a much more in-depth kind of explanation and an analysis of what the mother box is, what it does, why it does it, and yeah, like the mother box has its own kind of no, it doesn't have its own level of sentience, but it has like a connection to the wielder. So like the mother box can do things, but only the way that the wielder and the harnesser of the mother box itself actually only what they want it to do. So like still somewhat still somewhat like the mother. No, like still somewhat like the Infinity Stones from Marvel. Like, you know, like they can do amazing things and or bad things depending on what the actual wielder actually wants them to do. Like you know, Thanos wanted to snap half away. Yeah, they snapped half away. Bruce wanted to snap half back. They brought it back. So with the mother box, it's you know, like the mother boxes themselves are like pretty much forms of indestructible energy. They can't be created. They can't be destroyed. So, like I think it kind of that kind of confuses me a little bit because I think it was in like chapter 2 that, you know, or in part 2. I mean chapter 2, part 2, same difference. Like Dinah herself actually called it Dinah herself called it a science so advanced that it looks like magic. But I think, you know, well, I mean, now that I say that out loud and try and incorporate that into this, it kind of makes sense. Like, you know, it's still like an advanced kind of form of energy, a form of, like, you know, creation and stuff like that. So yeah, so like the mother boxes themselves kind of control the relation between particles and the state of particles. Like, you know, you burn a house down, it goes from particles of like different, like, you know, housing materials to particles of smoke. So it can kind of reverse or accelerate different kind of processes. If you want to destroy something, it will happily destroy it for you. But if you want to create something or even recreate something, it can very easily do that too. So like that scene, the way like they progressed from that, like the way they progressed from understanding what the mother box was to then understanding that, you know, the mother box can do anything they want it to do, that kind of level too. And especially them kind of analyzing it and like talking about that kind of process about how it can kind of rebirth, it can create, destroy, and it can rebirth too. Like them all coming to that mutual kind of mental understanding of like, you know, okay, we know what we need. We know what we actually need for this battle to work and for us to actually win this battle. And we also know that the mother box can help us obtain. And even Barry being the one to say, even Barry being Barry and him being the one to say, like, you know, okay, I know we're all thinking it, but if I need to be the one to say it, I'm more than happy to be the one to say it. Like, you know, and then all of a sudden he doesn't even need to say it. He doesn't even do it. Like the mother box itself kind of identifies, like, you know, don't worry, I got you. I know what you guys need. I know what you need. And then it actually gives us that hologram of Superman actually taking flight. And I think that's where the shot from the trailer comes from. Like, you know, like we see Bruce in the trailer looking at a hologram of Superman, and that's where it comes from. Like the mother box reads all of their minds and actually allows them to actually envision and actually brings to life their envisionment of Superman being alive and well and soaring higher, further and faster, or like up and away. Even that's Captain Marvel, soaring up and away all over again. So that is that is not only like an excellent kind of remake of the original cutscene, but also like a great way to show that kind of progression of, again, like of them actually getting to know what the mother box is, and then eventually understanding that the mother box's power can actually help them bring Superman back to life again. But then I think even before that, they also kind of come to the awareness that, if they do use the mother box, that means it's going to be awake, and then that's going to be like a homing beacon to Steppenwolf from the parademons, and then they're going to be swarming on it like moths to a flame, and it's going to be a huge army of them. Especially since it's the last box, they're all going to try and fight for their lives to try and actually get to the mother box too. So they have to be ready, but they also need Superman. To come back and do his thing. So, it's just an amazing way of actually looking at what this kind of power is, and I think also he actually showed them the backstory to it too. And I think the interesting thing, I think that visual of Victor himself walking through like a Nazi base was an interesting way to portray that scene. Him walking through just like so exploratively. Exploratively, is that a word? I don't. Explorationally, or like just so casually him walking through. I mean, it wasn't real, but like that kind of visual of him walking so casually down like a Nazi, like through like a Nazi base, was just a vision to behold, truly. But then he was actually explaining the history of the mother box. So like the Nazis actually discovered it back in World War II. So I think, I think we know from the origins of its burial, it was buried by ancient humans. It was buried in the forest, and then they found it. Which, I mean, that just screams like, I mean, yeah, I mean, I'm all too used to like Hydra from Marvel kind of doing their own kind of, exploring and experimenting, and them discovering ancient kind of alien monoliths and powers and stuff, like, well, not monoliths, but like them discovering their own kind of alien artifacts and powers from out of this world and stuff. So it just kind of screamed Hydra to me. But this one, no, it's like, I think this one is just kind of, I mean, I don't know if there is like a secret Nazi cult similar to Hydra in the DC universe, if there is any kind of history with that kind of story or formation or anything like that. But with this one, it just seemed like, like Nazis did their own exploring, and they found the mother box, and they kind of branded it as their own kind of scientific kind of discovery, and like a weapon they could use. And then somewhere down the line, the DoD, like the Department of Defense that Star Labs actually works for, then discovered it, and then they kind of contracted it out to Star Labs, and then the head scientist, Silas Stone, was the one who actually got to work on it, and then he came to understand some sense of what the mother box was, and he was able to harness that power to help bring his son back to life and actually help create Cyborg too. So yeah, that whole backstory. I think like Cyborg. I think Cyborg actually Victor actually incorporating the mother box's history into his own history was a really cool visual to see, and a really cool way for him to explain what happened to it. Like him actually just kind of being subtle, subtle about it. Him saying like, oh, the lead scientist did this, the lead scientist did that, the lead scientist saved my life and everything, and then in the end revealing, oh, the lead scientist was Silas Stone, my father. He actually brought me back to life from an accident that should have killed me, and now that's why I am this way. And I think, and again, like him being straightforward like that was actually much better than him just kind of being kind of overly defensive in the original cut. Like him, like being like, oh, I mean, they maintained Aquaman being like, oh, you seem to know, you seem to know like a lot about these mother boxes and their power. Like, how can we be sure you're not working for them or in secret contact with them because you're so connected to the mother box and everything. So with like in the original cut, he was just overly defensive and didn't really come forward about much. But with this one, he's actually straightforward about it. Yeah, you know what, I am connected to the mother box because that power was used to create me and to actually make me what I am today. So yeah, and he even explained that his father was the one who used it to actually help save him from the accident and everything. So I think that's like a much more efficient execution of that scene, like a much better way to kind of pull off that kind of storytelling. And one thing I didn't really realize initially was that he actually, like, the mother box actually took over most of his body. Like from what we saw of the salvaging of his body, like his torso was left, his arms were left, and his head was left, and he was still kind of harboring like scars from the injury, but for the most part he still had like his entire upper body left. So like the mother box then not only creating those kind of cyborg body parts for him, but also kind of taking over what was left, like turning his like what was left of his the flesh of his torso into cyborg parts. Like all that's left is literally like half of his head, like is like one red eye and one human eye, and then like a little dot in the middle, and then that's pretty much all that's kind of left. So I think it kind of took over most of his body to give him that much more power. And then, yeah, that scene flowed really well. That scene was great. So then him actually giving them that backstory, and them, and then that scene ending with them coming to that kind of unified realization that they need Superman back, and this box can actually help them do it. This box can help them do it. So yeah, that was great. That was great. And then the even bigger scene. I think I don't know. I can't remember if it was the final scene or if it was actually. I think it was definitely close to the end. I think it definitely came after that. I think it. In terms of how I remember writing my notes, I think it came after the Steppenwolf scene. I'm pretty sure it came after the Steppenwolf scene because it's right under that kind of section of my notes. But yeah, Lois and Martha, or at least who we think is Martha, who we thought might be Martha. That was a reveal I never would have seen coming. That is a reveal I never would have thought that they would put in here. It's not a character I ever thought that. I think a character I easily would have hoped they would introduce in the future of the movies, but I never would have thought they actually would have brought him in there. So the general, I think I don't know. I think it has to be. It definitely has to be John Jones. It definitely has to be him. But I think I don't know if he's still like it. Like I think because in Supergirl he does kind of like when he's trying to hide himself by using a human identity, he does kind of go by Hank Henshaw. But I don't know if he's actually the same name for his human counterpart in this. But the General from Man of Steel, and then the same person we actually saw in BVS2. He is Martian Manhunter. He is John Jones. I think that transformation was on point. I think as soon as I saw the red eyes, I was like, is this heat vision? And I was like, no, heat vision is brighter and actually covers the entire. Like this was almost just exclusively in like the people. It was like a lot more focused. It was a lot smaller, and it's like it seems weird. Like I think it took me a while before it was like before it even felt remotely familiar. But then the camera panned away, and then it actually swirled up over the character as it revealed a cape and then different legs and like a different thing. And I was like, no way, a character who has a cape and has red eyes that's not Superman. There's only one other person like that I know. No way are they going to pull that reveal. No way they're actually going to bring their character in, and then they actually show the face and it's green, and it's like, oh my god, they have Martian Manhunter in this. They have Martian Manhunter in this movie, let alone in this universe. But yeah, they have Martian Manhunter. I'm gonna trust that is still John Jones. I think I don't know if there are any other Manhunters that they want to introduce, but I think the most recognizable one, the most predominant Martian Manhunter in the stories is John Jones. So I'm trusting that is the one that they're introducing. But yeah, he's Martian Manhunter. He's the Martian Manhunter, and he is in this, and he is around. He's around. I am now, partially anxious to see if they incorporate him into the final battle in any way, or if he's going to kind of be more on the sidelines now, because I think he only really came out, he impersonated Martha to actually have like a one-to-one with Lois, which is actually surprisingly heartfelt, because I think he knows Lois, he knows that Lois is connected to Superman, and I think he impersonated Martha to actually have more of like a heartfelt kind of, future mother-in-law to future daughter-in-law kind of conversation, and like him actually getting to kind of talk, like getting through to Lois and seeing why she was there, and he even discovered that from Perry White, even he even discovered from him that that Lois actually hadn't been into work since Clark died. So I think like that's been a while now. That has definitely been a while. So because I think even from the opening that they showed us of Superman dying and his screams awakening the boxes, like he even like meant like it. I think there's even been like a bit of a time jump from then, because we saw at the end of PBS that they had actually buried him, so it had actually been some time between then and now, so it's been some time. So I think it's understandable that even with like it's understandable that with Lois's grief, like she wouldn't really be all too eager to go straight back to work, to the same place where her actual her boyfriend worked too. So it's understandable that she'd actually take some time off, but I think this is also more of a case of her like not just taking time off, but also just having trouble kind of readjusting to life and actually returning to that place of work even after her kind of allocating time off too. So that was like regardless of the fact that we now know that that was actually Jean impersonating Martha, it was still a cool scene to see. He didn't really play around with her feelings. He didn't really trick her into kind of having any kind of conversation that she didn't want to have. He still kind of acknowledged her feelings as Martha. He still acknowledged that she was grieving, and that he acknowledged that and he didn't even pretend to be anything to be like anything that Martha wasn't already. Even what he said as Martha was still incredibly accurate. Like her actually going around hearing all these people talking and like talking about Superman like as if they knew him as anything other than a hero, and like her being like they will never know him the way that you or I did. And especially like it would make sense for Martha to kind of identify her grief with that, like similar to that of Lois's too. Like Lois and Martha actually knew him as Clark, as the actual person deep down that he was. So like like her sharing that grief and that connection too, and actually getting through, and it wasn't even manipulation. It was literally like even once he got outside and actually transformed back into his human embodiment. Like he even said, we need you back. Like the land of the living needs you back. Like you're the key. And I think even he understands that. Even he understands that she is the key in some ways. So I don't know if he actually knows that it's actually possible to bring Superman back, if he's aware of the mother boxes and if he's aware of any kind of plan or whatever. But I think he knows that like she is important, and I think maybe he wants to kind of help her or something. But I don't know. It kind of begs that question as to why he would be. Why, besides from kindness and compassion, he would be so eager to actually get her back on board again. But as far as we know so far, he's not really aware of any kind of plans or any kind of team like the League, or any kind of ability to bring Superman back. But he doesn't want her to actually kind of get back on board to try and help her out of her own cave of despair and grief and everything. So it was cool nonetheless. I think that's actually for me that's what makes that scene work even better. The fact that he's not trying to be anything like to do anything malicious or manipulative. He is literally kind of he is coaxing her out of the cave with a familiar face, with a face that she trusts and knows, and he's not using that face for any. Literally, he's not using that face for any bad or evil intentions either. He's using that face to actually do. He's doing something with that face that face would already do. Like Martha would actually try and connect to Lois, and she would try and actually connect to her grief and actually relate to her and actually offer some support and offer like words of encouragement and wisdom and stuff. So yeah, that also does beg the question, like, has the real Martha actually been to to visit Lois as of yet? It didn't seem like it was it seemed like a surprise visit, but it didn't really seem too much like it was like the first visit since Clark had died. It definitely, I think it definitely, at least in the moment, it definitely felt like Martha must have been there before. So yeah, unless there was any kind of dialogue I missed out on her actually not having been there since Clark died. But I guess I'll just have to wait and see in my kind of replay as to whether or not that was there yet. But still, that reveal was great. That scene flowed great. That scene was great to watch. So yeah, it was awesome. It was awesome. And I think circling back to the mother box analysis too, I like that they acknowledged how the death of Superman actually woke up the boxes and actually made them more active again. Because I think because like they must be afraid of him. That's also an interesting take on it too. Like they're actually afraid of him. Like they're afraid of him. So like them acknowledging that even when Victor when Silas used the mother box to actually used one of them to actually create Cyborg, like to turn Victor into Cyborg and to bring him back to life. Like none of the boxes actually woke up. There was no signal. Like the battle didn't happen until now when Superman died. So Superman kind of dying meant that because then you'd argue that or at least I'd probably try and argue before. I think okay, hold on, I get the words because then I think okay, no, because then I was gonna say, surely then they would then want to draw Steppenwolf here so that he could take out Superman himself. But then maybe they knew that he couldn't. So then Doomsday be killing Superman launched his screams. His screams were sent as literal shockwaves all over the world, and conveniently those shockwaves actually reached each of the individual mother boxes and stuff. So then Superman dying was what actually activated them and sent them out as a beacon. So then that was their kind of message being transmitted to Steppenwolf, being like, hey, Steppenwolf, hey, Superman's dead, the Kryptonian is dead, no protectors here, hurry up, get your ass over here, and stuff like that. It's like, they're afraid because, Superman is arguably the strongest member of the JLA, so he's the one who can actually help stop any force that might try and use the mother boxes. Because again, I think that then also begs the question, are the mother box the mother boxes the mother boxes aren't inherently evil, but then what they can do can be used for evil. So I think the mother boxes might have that level of sentience, like the fact that they're aware when there's a force nearby that can actually prevent them from being used at all. So they like kind of being alive, they like being used and stuff like that. So saying that out loud just kind of feels kind of weird out of context. But I think they're more dormant and they're more afraid when there's a creature nearby that can prevent them from being used or prevent them from kind of from fulfilling their full purpose, or at least or their true purpose or whatever. But then once the one thing capable of protecting them or stopping them from being used dies, then they're actually activated by those screams. So like that. I think Diana probably worded it better than me, but yeah, they actually acknowledge that Superman's death, his dying screams, were literally what actually activated the mother boxes after all those years and caused them to kind of crack open and send out that kind of distress signal of sorts to Steppenwolf and alert him to their locations and all that kind of stuff. So that kind of tie-in was cool too. That kind of acknowledgement was really cool to see too. So yeah. But yeah, that is pretty much all I can remember, all I can think of. It's all I've written down, all the notes I've kind of taken. But this was a great continuation. So great analysis of the mother boxes, great fight scenes, great combat, great kind of character moments here and there. So looking forward to seeing how the team further unites. And I think now, going forward, we should come close to the scene where they actually resurrect Superman. And in this movie, we get Black Suit Superman too. So I'm looking forward to that kind of. I'm looking forward to how I think I might have actually seen the scene where he finds the suit, because I think it was actually like a deleted scene from the original cut that Zack Snyder himself directed. The scene that is where he actually goes back into the I think it's not the fortress. It's like the original Kryptonian scout ship that he had where he actually just from Man of Steel, where he discovered his first suit. He actually walks through a hall of different suits, I think, and he finds the black suit. He does definitely see the black suit, but I think he ignores that one and then goes for the red and blue one. But then I think there's another scene where he meets Alfred, and then he actually finds the black. But then in that one, I think he's actually wearing the black suit. I think no, I think in that one he might have actually been wearing the red and blue suit. I think, yeah. I don't know. I think he might have been wearing the black suit, but I think there are deleted scenes. There are deleted scenes from the original cut where he actually does find the black suit and everything, and he sees it for the first time. So in this movie, we'll actually get to see him wear the black suit. So yeah, and again, I think I'm kind of curious as to what the actual symbolism and kind of significance of the black suit is, because I think in Superman and Lois, we've seen that in the future he turns on humanity, and in that one he's wearing the black suit. So in that one, I think the vibe you get is more of that he's actually turned evil, and so he's wearing a darker suit to represent that kind of darkness. But in this one, I think I remember in Man of Steel, Jor-El, or at least his AI, the Jor-El AI actually ripped open his jacket to actually show that he was wearing the black suit too. He was wearing his own black suit, and Zod had his own black suit with his own kind of crest with his own house coat of arms on it. So I'm curious as to what as to if there is any significance or any kind of symbolism behind the black suit and what it is, and if they'll explore in this. I mean, hopefully they do, because I think we need some kind of explanation as to what the black suit is, and what I think besides from color, what makes it different from his classic red and blue suit. So yes, I think now coming soon we'll actually have the kind of resurrection of Superman, and we'll see how he actually comes back to life and how he explores resurrection too. So that should be fun. That should be just as much fun. But that is pretty much all I have. That is all I have. So yeah. That is all I have from this chapter. So looking forward to the next one when it comes. Hopefully I can get these all up soon. Had some editing issues with syncing, but hopefully that should be sorted out in one way or another, and hopefully I can actually get these out in quick enough succession and get these over and done with. But it's been fun. It's been so much fun watching this movie and watching it and posting these reactions for you guys. So hopefully you guys are enjoying the journey too. And yeah, as always, let me know what you think, what your thoughts are on this chapter and all the previous chapters, and what you're looking forward to, and any spoiler-free kind of comments you have regarding the movie too. What your thoughts are, leave them in the comments. So yeah, that was part 4 of the Snyder Cut of Justice League. So thank you guys, as always, so much for being here and for watching this video. If you guys enjoyed it, then salt and button that like button. Comment on what you thought of the episode. Comment on what you thought of the chapter, and what you thought of the part of this movie, and what you're looking forward to in the end. Once again, the full-length reaction, assuming and praying that it is available, it will be in the comments below. The link for it, and it'll be over on Patreon, so you can go check that out over there too. But yeah, that is it. So I will see you guys next time.